My name is Roman Romero, and I'm from Denver, Colorado. I can tell you that I remember being very young and on my own, but on my own in a good way. Get up in the morning and I had an ATV because I grew up in a small community in southern Colorado. It's actually Manassas, Colorado. It's the home of Jack Dempsey, for anybody that's a boxing fan. I'd have an ATV and I'd be able to roam around the farms and go through the sand pits, and there was a lot of freedom back then and a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed doing that as a kid. What my parents taught me was to always see the way through. When I was younger, they did struggle. My dad was in between jobs and my mom was raising 3 kids trying to go to school. I remember when my father moved to the big city, which was Denver, and he used to commute on the weekends to see us. And they lived separate for a while, but they did what they had to do to make things work. And that was perseverance. And I learned that. Maybe I didn't know what that word was initially or early on, but I learned that along the way. What's important to me in my life is my family. I have a blended family, but my daughter and my son are my everything. My daughter just finished her freshman year of college, and my son's going through high school. He's a varsity sport athlete, and the 2 stepchildren are also having their own successes along the way, and it's fun to see them grow and put all of that together. Another important thing for me is to have a very sound business and practice. Everything can be challenging nowadays. Life is challenging, and the business that we're in, the field that we chose to work in, when we meet with prospects or people, sometimes they just have no clue. When you educate and you help them along the way, and they're comfortable taking that next step, you know that you've done something solid, you've done something good, not only for them, but yourself, because you've guided them along the way. And I believe that you're meant to share that information. You're meant to put something together on which they would have never known had they not met you. How I got into this business it's a real interesting story, but I was a sales manager at a health club, 19, going on 20 years old, and had a roommate who was he was my coworker, and one day he comes home and I come home from work and he's laying there on the couch and he's reading all these books, you know, long-term care, estate planning, annuity. He was only a couple years older than me, so I asked him, I said, what are you reading? What is that stuff? And he just said, my uncle owns a brokerage or a firm. They do all sorts of planning for people. And I said, well, I thought that was pretty interesting, but I didn't really know that it was gonna lead me to being in this industry. So you fast forward a few months and I go and see him, I go to visit him at work, walk around this office, it was a little dental office. His uncle comes in and he just said, this is my friend Roman, my roommate. And he started showing me everything that they were doing, from case design to marketing to everything across the board. And I took a strong interest in that, but he already wanted me to go and work for them. So I took a little time to think about it, and I decided, let's go ahead and give this a try. And I enjoyed working with other reps and agents across the country. There was early travel for me to meet these individuals and help them with their marketing and their programs, and help them with case design and working with their clients. And from there on, I went into production on my own and enjoyed that, interacting with the clients more. I helped them navigate that. I helped them put together some plans and introduce some concepts and ideas for them. And the most satisfying thing about that is once we get to that point and that there's joy and that sigh or that relief breath that is taken once they're committed, right? They know that they've done what they can do to improve their lifestyle and you've been a part of that to help them. I think that's the greatest joy. I think that's the biggest piece to all of that. I think it's a unique skill set for anybody to have, because it may be that individual or that couple or entire family that we've really helped. And the rest of their lives are going to be in good hands.